you guys managing to, juggle the whole life thing and still remain sane? I mean, look at me. I go to school. I go to work. I'm a mom. I've just had a baby. I'm a wife. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. Yeah. And, in the center of it all, we still need to find time for ourselves, just so that we remain okay mentally, emotionally, psychologically. How are you guys managing to do it?
For me, I'm also sort of in a similar place that you are. Mm-hmm. I also go to school, and my job is just hectic. Mm-hmm. And I have a son that I also need to consider in all of that. I found that sometimes doing something that's physical helps me. So I work out. So every morning I do a workout, and it's 25 minutes. And after that, I shower and I get ready for work. But already that's got the adrenaline flowing. I've got energy for the day, and that helps. And also, after, depending on what time I do my workout, during the time that I'm going to school, I can do my books first, like study for an hour, and then I do my workout, and then I go and bath. The reason why I do my studying in the morning is because it's quiet, there's nothing going on, and my mind is still very fresh and alert, because I know if I try doing that at the end of the day, usually when I get home, I'm just so tired. I just want to lie on my bed and watch something and just unwind. So that's how I'm doing it.
Well, for me, I've suffered depression. Well, I think I still suffered because I'm still on antidepressants. But what really works out for me is I take time to just go dance. I just love going for a job praiser show. I dance, and then I just come back, take my antidepressant, and I'm already relaxing. But, it's just overwhelming. I have 3 boys.
Yeah, that must be hectic.
A teenager, and 8 is the last one. It's just too much. At times I just feel like it's all eating me up. There's this volcano just turning around just waiting to erupt, So basically I do a lot of retail therapy. Okay. If it's buying a top for me, if it's buying a top for me, it works for me. I don't believe in exercise, guys. I just don't believe in that. So I don't know, it works for some, but for me it doesn't. Everything that I go through takes my energy.
So I came out of a very stressful pregnancy. There was a lot happening to me inside my body as well as outside. Yes, so even my external environment affected me a lot. And what then happened is I then became hypertensive. Yes, so actually my baby had to be taken out before her time. So now the challenge that I'm facing is the hypertension is not going down. And I find this is a reality in many people's lives. Actually, one of our clients was just telling me the other day that at their workplace, they've seen a sudden sharp increase in the number of employees that are now hypertensive and are on, medication for BP and things like that. So it's a reality these days that in the hustle and bustle of life, everybody's trying to make sense of the economy. Everyone is trying to provide for their families. Then there's themselves. Things can get really hectic and can actually get out of hand.
You tend to forget yourself.
Yes, you can actually tend to forget yourself. I'm really trying to find that balance. But there are things that I enjoy doing that, help. And sometimes, it's just then finding the balance
between what you want and what I have to do.
Like, for example, reading a book. I do read sometimes, like before bed or first thing in the morning, just not studying, but actually reading fiction or non-fiction, whatever it is, stuff that I actually enjoy that calms my mind.
Because there's some of these pressures we can never run away from. You can never run away from your children.
True.
You can never run away from your house. They are there, but we just need to put a balance. After doing all these things that everyone around you wants you to do, find time for yourself.
Yeah.
Go out with the girls.
You need to find a way of handling the stress. I remember when my son was about 4 years old,
Yeah.
I got to a stage where I just needed a break from being a mother.
Yeah.
And when you're a single mother, it's even
Worse.
more stressful. And I remember my friends were going on a trip out of the country, and I left my son. I decided I was going to go with them. Yeah, his mommy's baby and whatever. But I needed that time, and I felt guilty. I think for the first day or so, what a bad mother I am. But also a part of me realized I needed this time out, away from being a mother. So I was away for, I think, 4 or 5 days. And I was far away. And I'd left my son with my parents. I knew he was in good hands. And it just gave me time to recharge and unwind. Sometimes you need to do that. I'll go out with my friends. We'll go for a girls' day out. And I'm the one who's notorious for saying, guys, no children. Because I feel it's very necessary. There's always, when you have kids, they're like the focal point of your life. Everything revolves around them. And in doing that and being the good mother, being the good wife, being the good employee, you forget all about yourself. So I usually stipulate, if you hear me saying let's go with the kids, then it's a rare thing. But most of the times I'm like, guys, we need time out. I need time to be able to sit and talk to guys and just talk about whatever silly stuff that women are talking about. Who's the hot guy? What's happening? Who's going to hook me up with who? And all that kind of stuff, when you don't have to worry about what are the kids doing, who's looking out for the kids, either hurt themselves and whatnot. It's good for my mental health because then I'm recharging, I'm having adult conversations. I'm not necessarily talking about the bills and trying to figure out that this needs to be done. How am I going to do it? I'm just unwinding. And I think it's very important for people to take care of yourselves mentally. Because if you don't do that, you're going to get anxious, you're going to get stressed. And when you get stressed, you're not functioning properly. You drop so many balls because you're stressed.
So I agree with you, Margaret. Actually, I read somewhere online last week that child-centered families, the children actually get more damaged when they know that all their attention is on them, that everything revolves around them. They then grow up self-entitled. They grow up with no sense of responsibility because everything is dished to them. They ask for this, is there. Mommy, you know what I mean? You're running to them, running for them, and
There's never a time
for yourself. And they never have to be accountable. They never have to be responsible because their parents will dance to every tune. So it's actually not for their good. It's good to take time out from children. I definitely agree with you. But it's not just the children that you need time out from. You also need time out from your marriage or your partner. You also need time out. Seriously. I'll tell you, sometimes when I get from work and I'm super tired, and reading a book, unfortunately for me, even though I've been doing a lot of research, reading again calms me down, but it's just, what am I reading now? If I'm now reading a book, I actually I've got a really good assistant at home. She helps me take care of my kids. And I actually let her know, but I'm really super tired. And she'll take care of the children just to give me that 30 minutes to calm down, to relax. And it helps when you've got good help because they play more than just the role of cleaning the homes. Taking care of our families and making sure everything is running smoothly. I find that it helps.
So we basically come back to we need good self-support systems. We continue needing to go for counseling just to remind us you need to take care of yourself. We need friends. You just don't need yourself. Yes, you need alone time, but you need people to help you understand that you need self-care.
And even your partner as well. You do need time out. Once in a while I'll hear that in some marriages there's Daddy's Day and so on. But yes, you never hear about Mommy's Day. as much as I support the daddies days, I also think we also need mommy's
You know what I
days.
love about the church near my house? If there's a conference for women, you'll have 3/4 of the women in the church there. If there's a conference for men, you'll find 5, because men don't like having anything done near around the home. But talk about a conference in Kariba, all the men will go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if it's just to do with where they are centered near the home, it's just for the mother.
Okay.
It's just for the mothers to do it.
I think that's also our culture. The woman is, in our culture, you're this superwoman.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do everything. You look after the husband.
You look after the
you
in-laws.
look after the family, the in-laws, the extended family. But nobody pays attention to you
Yeah.
as an individual.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to make a conscious effort to give yourself that time. It's also about being self-aware, being aware of when you're getting to the end of your rope, when you need help, when you need to take that time out and unwind and do whatever it is that makes you happy. If it's shopping, if it's exercising, if it's just being in a quiet place, just taking that time out so that you are mentally fit to, yeah.
You know me, I've got a funny story to share. When I was married, I had a stroke twice because of depression. But when I got divorced, I did not stroke. I just told myself, you know what, whatever anybody's going to think or whatever, I'm just standing up now. I'm going to dance. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
I only
You made
realized
yourself a
after the
priority.
divorce, yes. I only realized after the divorce that I need alone time. I love dancing. Let me do it. I love taking pictures. Let me do it. But when I was a mother, just to think of going and dance at a Ja Praiser show, at a Winky D show, anything, I'd start thinking of, okay, what will the mother-in-law say? What will the next person say about this woman with 3 boys going to dance? But now I don't think about what anybody thinks. And it's good on me. I look beautiful, even if you don't agree, guys.
For the
It's
record,
about how you
I
feel.
agree.
Yeah, because it's a time where I've realized I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah.
You know, so I think people just need to do that.
Yeah, you do. And you also need to take care of our health, our physical health. Like you were saying, there's a lot of cases of high blood pressure. And these days, there's also lots of, I don't know if it's the diet or what's changed. There's a lot of cancer going around.
Yeah.
You need to self-check. Women, we always put these things, we take care of ourselves last,
Yeah.
if we even do. Give yourself a breast exam. Go for a pap smear. Get your BP checked. Your sugar checked once in a while. I think it's actually important for you to maybe schedule once a year. Go to the doctor and have
Just a thorough
everything
check.
checked out
Yeah,
to make
just
sure
checked
everything
out,
is fine.
And you find we're the people that complain of headaches half the time, but we don't sit down and just say, okay, I really need to look at why do I continue having a headache.
That's so true, because actually there are some diseases like sugar diabetes, that they are called silent killers because there are no symptoms. You may never know that you actually have that problem or that issue unless you're actually checked out, which becomes very important to schedule it, like you said, annually.
Yeah. And also the other thing is we don't realize the amount of stuff that's going around that we control.
Yeah.
That we are involved in. So if you don't take care of your mental health, if you don't find that person that you can talk to and unwind with, or whatever it is that makes you relax, you don't function as well. And when you don't function as well, things start happening, and that's just more stress on you. So I think
definitely.
the more
Imagine if you are in hospital because you're just not mentally stable. There's no one to take care of the boys.
children, yeah.
There's no one to cook. You still continue to get sick.
And I think somehow we need to share the burden, because we are not super women. We
the
do
things they are ones we
everything.
live with, guys.
We do everything, guys, but I think there's a limit to what the body can take, to what the mind can take, or at least maybe scheduling if you are done with project A, then you can move on to project B. Because if it's the taking everything.
But then we can't put our families as projects. You can't put our kids as projects.
Totally.
And then start I think you just have to balance things. Just to balance that once in a while, it's just me that needs to relax.
I just need
once
to
in
be
a
away.
while, it's just me that needs to take care of themselves. It's me that needs to go for a test. It's me that needs to do this, you know?
Patience, I've got a question for you. How do you handle your relationship with your husband? On you and him, exclusive of all the other things that are happening around you. How do you cope? How do you manage to keep your relationship going with your husband, with all these other things that are happening? Because from my perspective, if I was there, I think you'll be like the last person I would consider, because I'll be like, Sha, you're an adult. Sort yourself out.
Yeah, actually, I don't want to lie. I don't want to pretend. These things happen. At times, as spouses, we then take each other for granted. Look, my spouse knows that I'm busy. They know that I've got this going on. And, because he's the man of the house, taking care of the major bills, he's like, my wife should understand that I have to look for the money so I can come home late because I'm chasing deals.
Yeah.
And, at times, I also have to understand this. So, you know what? At the end of the day, we also need to eat in this house. I can't be all about, hey, it's 6, we're supposed to be eating dinner. Come, let's have dinner with the family. I have to also make those kind of adjustments. But what we then do is just to find time, even when all is said and done, even if it's just 30 minutes to talk on a day-to-day basis. And mornings are our time. Whilst preparing to come to work, just before waking up, we do find time to just go through each other's day, find out what's going on, how are you doing this, 80s.
Pillow talk.
Yeah.
You have that?
One of the things that I always think about is if I was to be in a relationship, how would I handle that aspect of it? Because for so long, my life has been... It's not someone that I have had to deal with.
Yeah.
So how would you then, if I'm newly married, how do I then keep that fire burning with my husband, with all these other things that are going on?
I think they should all play a part.
You don't stop being you. You continue being you. You continue being true to what is important to you. But at the same time, you do make some allowances for the other person because they're an important part of your life, and you also want to see them happy. So you what is it called? You compromise. Yes. You won't then just stick to what makes you happy as a person whilst ignoring the other party. You take into consideration who they and what they are, but they also, because they love you and they care about you, they also know what's important for you, so they'll also then give you that leeway,
give you that room that you need to breathe.
Of course, it may be uncomfortable. It's not smooth sailing. It may be uncomfortable, and here and there, it's like when a butterfly is still a worm and is trying to get out of its shell. It will be quite uncomfortable, but what comes out of it is a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And the other thing, I think also we shouldn't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes, definitely.
Because I think sometimes you might be in a place where you feel like if I ask for help, it's because I'm failing. But there's a lot of things going on around, and there's only so much that you can handle. So if you've got like a supportive family structure or your friends, if you feel that you are not coping, ask for help.
I read a funny story in the agony columns of a local newspaper. So this couple, they've got 2 children, and then because life is so hard for them, they then ship the children to Gogo. And then now Gogo is the one writing to the agony column and saying, you know what, I understand that times are hard for my children, but I also raised them and I was working hard, and now I want to relax. But now I've got Vazukuru. So I think, yes, as much as we do need other people's help, and I'm all for it, but within the boundaries of being considerate.
Don't let it go a bit too far.
Definitely.
Don't drop your balls.
Yes.
Don't hand off responsibility to someone else. So on another note, patience, there's a whole issue of couples where the husband is not willing to step up and play his role either as a father or as your lover, your man. How would you handle theoretically, if you had a situation like that, you were the married one, how would you handle that? Or what advice can you give?
Actually, this is a very common issue where a lot of women feel like, for example, parenting, that the husband just leave the parenting to the wife, or they leave, the running of the household, everything to the wife. But unfortunately, these days, the wife also has a full plate because she's also employed. She's also maybe running a business. She's also got another life outside the family.
Yeah.
So then putting all of these things on one person then becomes a bit of a burden. But I find that talking about issues helps.
Yes.
But sometimes you want to engage your partner and they're not really willing to listen to you or to engage you on that topic. So you could look for third parties to assist your pastor. You could look for maybe a counselor, a marriage counselor, definitely, who can come in and try and reconcile. And if your partner does not want to go with you to these counseling sessions, for example, then you could go on your own, because there are still some very important lessons that you could learn in that journey, and points that you get definitely that will assist in that issue. And there was a part where we were talking about children as well. And, it's important, though, that whilst we are being busy and doing what we are doing, then we don't just let our kids to just grow as weeds.
Yeah. You don't want to raise a child that's going to be a problem in the future. Yeah.
Definitely. You just need to be there, sprout the weeds here and there, but you're still focused.
Spoil, and just spare the rod and spoil a child. Not necessarily literally. It's not legal these days, and now children will then, just go into...
It's called child line.
How embarrassing is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I think if your partner is not forthcoming, rather go for counseling, because it comes back to you again. If you're not having that me time with your partner, that the conjugal rights that are supposed to be happening within the home, it affects you mentally. And it disturbs what you do, because you begin to wonder, what is he doing? What am I doing?
And how do you bring up that topic, to say, dude, it's been a couple of days, weeks, and there's no magic happening.
But I think you know your person.
You know,
Okay.
and I think there's a way.
So
you
you
can
know
say,
how you can get a response out of him, or how you can bring about, maybe not be very open and straightforward about it, but you
if
tell
you're
him in
not
a subtle
straightforward,
way.
you won't get what you want.
No, but you need to be subtle sometimes, because then you don't want to look like you're attacking him.
You won't be attacking him, but just telling him, babes, you're lacking here.
I don't know. To me, that sounds very out there and confrontational, I don't know.
But if it's not happening, it's not happening. So if you mention it, I think the person will understand.
But both of you have to make an effort, because you can't then go to him and say it's not happening when you haven't been trying, or you haven't been making yourself available. So I think that's also another important...
that needs to get into those nice little
No.
dresses.
I'm not saying that you have to do all the work, but I'm saying if you're seeing that it's not happening, try and make it happen and see. And if it doesn't, then there's a problem that you need to sit and talk about. Because sometimes, from what I remember in the past, he might be feeling neglected. Because you're all about children, you're all about school, you're all about work, about parents, about everybody, and you're focusing on everybody else.
But not him.
But not him, because you know what I mean? But he actually does need that attention and time from you. So, that's also taking care of yourself in a way, self-care.
Yeah, but it's
I'll
tricky
drink to that.
Same, but it's tricky to take care of an old man.